one of my good friends, and most importantly, a generally very good guy, Emilio Lopez.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the faculty for choosing me as this year's faculty speaker. I was honestly pretty surprised when I found out, because I would have thought you guys had already heard me talk enough in your classes. Sometime during my junior year, Miss Lenz told me how our class was especially challenging when she taught us in 6th grade. In fact, she was close to quitting her job altogether. Luckily for her, her appendix burst. She was out for a month. She was out for a month, and then the pandemic hit shortly after. So she was saved from having to deal with us every day. But in all seriousness, I really appreciate Miss Lenz. I hope one day I can achieve her level of patience. She never gave up on me, and for some reason, every single time I called myself stupid back in 6th grade, she was right there to remind me that I wasn't. That was important because I was loud, obnoxious, hard to control, but honestly, not much has changed. Fast forward to the beginning of my senior year, I had the opportunity to work with a group of 8th graders in Seattle who were making up Washington State history credit. When I tell you I got a taste of my own medicine, it'd be an understatement. After leaving that classroom for the first time, I wanted to apologize to Miss Grace and Miss Lenz for every headache I ever gave them. For the first time, I got to see things from the other side. I realized just how much patience, dedication, and care it takes to be a teacher. That experience made me think about something Mr. Stegner used to jokingly tell me after every inappropriate joke I would make. You'll grow up one day. Every time he said it, I would wonder what that actually meant. Did it mean becoming quieter? Did it mean not making the inappropriate joke when it was perfectly handed to me? Or did it mean becoming a completely different person entirely? What I've come to realize is that growth isn't becoming someone else. Growing up didn't mean losing my voice. It meant learning when to use it and how to use it in a way that positively impacts the people around me. As I've gone older or more mature, as Stegner would say, I've realized there are a lot of things about my teachers that I want to carry with me. Like Mr. and Miss Dow's daily Dow reports, I'd also want to be as dedicated to my future students as Mr. Gambles is to his. Hopefully I can also master his ability to teach while secretly watching the Mariners game on his phone in one hand. And holding pistachios in the other. Then chuckling every time Luis Castillo throws a strike. The teachers at Portown High School helped shape who I am today. They saw potential in me long before I saw it in myself, especially Miss Lenz, and because of them, I'm pursuing a career in education to help shape the kids like me. Before I finish, I'd like to dedicate the final part of my speech to my wonderful parents, Sandra Sanchez and Marcos Lopez. My parents arrived at the front steps of the country with no idea how to speak the language, no connections, and no friends. Only the hope of building a better future for me and my siblings. They left behind everything they knew, their family, their friends, and most importantly, the place they called home. They made incredible sacrifices so that I could have opportunities that they never had. So to my parents who came here with nothing, yet gave me everything, thank you for your courage, your hard work, your sacrifices, and your unconditional love. Everything I've achieved is because of the foundation you built and the example you set. I am forever grateful, and I hope to make you all proud. Thank you. Go Dogs.
Thank you, Emilio. The graduating class also selects one staff member to speak at commencement. This year, they chose someone who often goes the extra mile to ensure students feel welcomed and supported in class and on campus. whether that be by opening his classroom every day for lunch or ensuring that tutoring is a place where students want to be and feel welcomed. Please welcome this year's PTHS faculty speaker, Jeff Taylor.
Wow, what an honor to be standing up here tonight, selected by the class of 2026 to be your faculty speaker. It has been an absolute privilege to teach you over the last 3 years that I've been at PTHS. We have had some adventures together, haven't we? But really, my connection to this group goes back even further. I still have the video of Sophia Heistand dancing in my kitchen with Helena back in 6th grade during the pandemic, and then watching them run off into Cappy's trails for some serious forest exploration. And then there were the stories that I would hear every night from Miss Lenz about that chaotic 6th grade math class over at Blue Heron. Man, I do not even want to go into those. But I think Amelia's given you a little flavor of what that was like. But it was my arrival at Port Townsend High School during your sophomore year that really kicked off this wild ride. That biology class that I had that first year, that was full of some personalities. Right, Nico? But there is one specific student that I have to mention from that class. This student was not turning in anything and was really not giving much of an effort. When I'd asked him about it, he just acted like he didn't really care. So I called him up to my desk and I said, I can tell you're really intelligent, you're a natural leader, but you are not giving me your full effort. He just kind of shrugged. And I said, no, that's not good enough. Then I proceeded to contact his mom. And let me tell you that instantly a brand new student showed up in my class. This student suddenly started giving me his all. And over the next 3 years, we have had so much fun together. From producing wild, crazy CPR first aid videos to the house competitions, to watching him challenge himself in AP classes I don't think he ever expected to take. So to Manasseh's mama out there, you should be so proud of the wonderful child you raised. I think what makes teaching at Port Townsend High School so special is the opportunity to really get to know the students here as people and to watch them grow over the years. There's a special club here at Port Townsend High School. You don't have any stoles for this, but I call it the Three-Timer Club. These are the students who I've had for 3 different classes. If you're a member of that club, can you just give me a little hand up that you've had 3 times? Oh, come on, there's more than a dozen of you. But there is one special member of this club, a student who had me for not just 3 classes over their high school career, but 3 classes at the same time. Imagine challenging yourself in AP Pre-Calculus, college in the high school Anatomy and Physiology, and honors chemistry, all while she worked tirelessly to build our new HOSA club. Eileen, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you and watching you grow academically, and I'm so excited to see what you do as you thrive at UW. Go Dogs! Well, I don't have time to name everybody individually. I just want to tell all the parents in the audience something from the bottom of my heart. In my 20 years of teaching, this is definitely the kindest, funniest group of students that I've ever had the privilege to stand in front of. These students have always shown me respect, they've worked hard, and they've embraced learning. They are curious, and yet, even as they work hard, they know how to just keep the vibe light and humorous. And most importantly, I watched as I see how much you care about each other. I saw students who were willing to lift each other up when they were struggling academically. I saw students who were there for each other emotionally. I saw a group who found the perfect balance between challenging themselves in the classroom while having fun and representing our school so proudly in sports, theater, Knowledge Bowl, and mock trial. Parents, you should be so proud of the fine young adults that are sitting on this stage tonight. But now I have to transition into that mandatory advice section of the speech. So let's get serious for a moment and talk about your futures. There are a lot of heavy things going on right now. There's all this talk about AI taking away your jobs. There's debates over whether college is even worth going to anymore. And there's the reality of having to go out and navigate in this deeply divided world. We often tell you that high school is the place to train you and prepare you for the real world. But I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. But while we've given you the skills to master stoichiometry, solve the quadratic equation, and write a rhetorical essay, there are some real-world skills that you still need to work on. So here it is, your final lesson from me. The most important skills that you can possess as you head off into your careers are simple. Be reliable, show up on time, be dependable, and be present in the moment. In high school, there really wasn't much of a penalty for being absent from school. Being tardy was without consequence. And all of us teachers would just say, sure, turn in that assignment whenever. We don't really have any deadlines. But let me promise you this. The school world you were trained in is not the real world. Now the consequences begin. So if you want to survive in a world where AI or automation can take your job, you need to be someone your boss can rely on. You need to show up on time, you need to be reliable, you need to be indispensable. Yes, AI may be able to make many entry-level jobs become obsolete, but AI cannot replace your unique creativity. It cannot replace your human touch, your empathy, your compassion. Make yourself someone the bosses know they cannot run the place without. And then once you get there, pay it forward. Find that next generation of young adults who also just need someone who believes in them. Mentor them, help them rise up, and help keep our economic and social system focused on what matters most. Being of the people, for the people. And now, before I step down, I want to wrap up this speech with just one more special thank you. I just want to thank Leah and Michael. You guys were such incredible students to have in class. It was such a privilege to teach you. But more importantly, I just want to thank you for being the best friends for my daughter, Helena. So I'll wrap up by just saying, parents, thank you so much for raising such phenomenal human beings. This is my 7th high school, and it is definitely the best. And so for the Port Townsend High School class of 2026, congratulations, and go out there and make us proud.
Thank you, Jeff. Now, on behalf of the Ocean School, I'm honored to introduce this year's Ocean student speaker. Selected to represent the experience of Ocean seniors as they have journeyed through school. He's been a strong leader at Ocean since joining us in middle school, participating in everything the school has to offer, from academics to extracurriculars. I'm proud to welcome our student speaker, Luca Tapagna.
Hello all, my name is Luca Verde Tapagna, and yes, my middle name is Green in a handful of Romance languages. So, I'd like to start this speech by thanking our sponsors, which include Isaiah Whitlock's Family Estate, Amazon Prime, Magnesis, the Omar Little Foundation. Alright, I've come here today to talk to you all, however many of you there may be, about Ocean and my experience with it. So, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, I had a terrible experience in middle school. So in the 8th grade, I switched to Ocean. I've attended Ocean since then, amounting to 5 school years. My experience with Ocean so far has been good. And I mean, it's over now, but you know, it wasn't when I wrote this. I've made plenty of friends, participated in the theater, and dare I say, even enjoyed myself. If you've ever thought about Ocean, all I say is give it a chance. You know, like peace. My advice to future seniors, remember the light at the end of the tunnel, and when you're ready to pull your hair out or worse, seek help. Talk to people, complain about stuff, get your medication dosage checked. There are some adults in my life who have said things like, adulting is all about paperwork. Those people are wrong. Being an adult is loving and taking care of yourself, recognizing your own needs, and making decisions for yourself. And a ton of other stuff, that I don't know, because I've been an adult since like a week ago, maybe? Legally. And please do yourself a favor and leave Port Townsend. See the world, in fact. Trust me, home is home, sure, but you can always use a breath of fresh air, even if it's not actually fresher. Now, I wrote a part in here where I complained about some stuff that happened to me in middle school, and I was gonna read it, and then I decided I wrote that not as an adult. I wrote it when I was frustrated and kind of PO'd about some stuff that might have happened in my past, and then I was like, and this occurred to me just as I was sitting up here, I was like, hey, we don't need any of that. Everybody does their best, and your best is all you can do. So, if anybody here at all feels bad about something they've done, just try to remember that, and just forgive yourself. Have love. Don't let anybody define you or put a label on you. Sorry, not finished. That was the halfway mark. It gets... Thank you. I appreciate it, really. You're making me blush. So is the heat, but Okay, so this is sort of coming to the second part. Another thought of mine. So I feel the need to say that this came to me while I was drinking a pint glass of chocolate milk, home stirred, while I was watching TV. The thought I had when I was drifting in and out of paying attention was Bloom County. Anyone familiar? Raise a hand. Raise a hand if you've heard. Thank you. You guys are goated. Literally LeBron's in the audience, thank you. Okay, so for the uninitiated, it was a comic strip from the 80s. It centers around a copy boy, a lawyer, a penguin dating a human woman, a rabbit, Bill the cat. No, it's a great story. Now, there's a storyline where these characters join together and form a hair metal band called Billy and the Boingers, as one does, with Bill playing his own tongue. They go on many misadventures, and the arc concludes after they are arrested for throwing furniture out of a motel room window after a concert held at an Arizona rest stop off the side of I-40. Although arrested, tested, and released with fines, the characters ultimately conclude the band didn't define them, and that it had really just been their unique way of platonic male bonding. That's where my thoughts come in. In the same way that those characters are not forever tied to Billy and the Boingers, we, even if Kevin Dubrow is tied to Quiet Riot, and we don't have to talk about that, we as youth are not forever tied to school. We go to school for 13 years of our lives, usually for 6 or 7, I wrote that, just ignore that, a day, unless you're an ocean, we have lowered hours. And what school unfortunately does is it ends up becoming a box after a certain point. We like to say senioritis, but it's not seniors being lazy, it's seniors outgrowing high school. Many of us are legally old enough to join the military, drink in every country except this one, to gamble. Many of us have jobs. So when we go to an institution every day designed to treat us as children, it gets frustrating. I'm too old to be told to use my indoor voice, and I'm sick of explaining that the reason I talk loud is because my family's from New York. I'm tired of being shushed when the word beer is mentioned, while 15-year-olds in Germany have a drink after school. Or at McDonald's, in fact. I'm tired of being subjected to a set of Anglican-rooted puritanical morality, which is enforced by the school, an institution in the government which claims to have no state religion. It bothers me every day that this country of ours was founded by people who were kicked out of England because they didn't like dancing and kissing on the street. And other things we are not going to get into. Every achievement of my life, I've always subconsciously tied to school. I worried what I would do when there was no more school. Now I realize that all my achievements worth mentioning were done without direct school involvement, sometimes with school support, but I could have done some of them without school, So no great individual peaked in high school. And I'm not trying to say I'll become one of the on-time greats, all right? I'm not a malignant narcissist. I'm just pointing out that nobody peaks in high school, all right? MLK, Einstein, Fritz Zwicky, Nelson Mandela, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, JFK, Marvin Heemeyer, Charlemagne. None of those people peaked in high school, and high school didn't exist for half of them. Finding my place. Okay. Vera Rubin, Michelle Obama, Sinead O'Connor, Lisa Meitner, Agrippina the Younger, Jeanne d'Arc. That was a butchered pronunciation, I'm sorry. None of these women peaked in high school. The Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, Mani, Arius, Martin Luther, Mr. Koresh, none of them, all of them changed the world without being tied to a public school. High schoolers are an odd beast. High schoolers wax and wane, love to complain, hate to explain. I'm guilty of it myself. But we're trying to figure out an increasingly tumultuous world. So at the end of the day, I am thankful for Ocean existing, all the good and all the bad within it. It helped me navigate my high school years, and now that I'm graduating and asking these questions and making these observations, I can proudly say I'm ready for what comes next. Thank you.
Thank you, Luca. The Ocean graduating class also selects a staff member to speak at commencement. This year, they chose 2 teachers who will share this role and represent both